Hello, Max. Thank you for allowing me to obtain information for you regarding your estate of $8 million and your desire to leave Zach as your heir. To determine the best possible outcome of this transaction and to obtain the maximum advantage from the tax system, we will compare the gift, estate, and the generation skipping tax system. For determination of a skip person, it is stated any lineal descendant of the transfer's grandparent, that's you, or the transfer's spouse's grandparent, who is 2 or more generations younger than the transferor, and any person who is not a lineal descendant is not the spouse of the transferor and is more than 37 and a half years younger than the transferor. A question I have for you, Max, is if Zach's parents is alive, because an exception that's pointed out is if a child of the transferor is deceased at the time of the transfer, then the child's descendants move up 1 generation when determining if the transfer is a GST. As a result, certain transfers that, absent this rule, would be GSTs will not be treated as GSTs. The advantage to a bequest or a transfer at the death of yourself, Max, versus a gift would be the elimination of the annual exclusion of $14,000. The lifetime exemption would now take effect, which is $5,450,000, and would include any amounts previously transferred. For the tax rates, a credit exempts a large portion of the estate. Any value of the estate over $5.49 million is generally taxed at the top rate of 40%. The taxable transfers are direct skips, taxable distributions, and taxable terminations. Taxable transfers are a direct skip is subject to estate or gift tax. A taxable termination is any termination of a trust interest unless at the termination of the trust. The property is subject to estate or gift tax. Finally, a taxable distribution is any distribution from a trust to a skip person that is not a taxable termination or a direct skip. The transferor is liable for the GSTT on a taxable distribution. Generation skipping trust. They're taxed twice, and they're done to avoid tax inclusion. Property transferred to a member of the next generation and then transferred to that person's heir is generally taxed twice, once each time the property is transferred. To minimize transfer taxation, the generation skipping trust has been used to pass property ultimately to a generation at least 2 levels younger than the grantor of the trust, while allowing the intervening generation some income benefits from the property on an estate tax-free basis. Using a generation skipping trust to avoid tax inclusion for decedents of the grantor can substantially increase the wealth that is transferred to future generations of the family because the estate tax paid at each generation is eliminated. Thank you for allowing me to go over some of the ideals that I might have for generation skipping and passing on your wealth to your grandson. Thank you.